Welcome back. All right, so since we have a full day on Monday, doing the preview Sunday night to post to the channel on Monday because it's a holiday south of the border. So if you're Canadian going, why is the preview? Why are we having early games? This is why. So we have two games starting at 1 o'clock Eastern, which is 10 a.m. Pacific, starting off with Florida against the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo coming home, and their playoff chances have dropped off. So I've got playoff chances on the board here. October 15th, these teams met. It was a 4-3 win for Florida. They have two more meetings left. They'll meet February 24th as well as April the 4th. Florida's 20-20-4. Their last 10 games are 5-5. Away from home, they're 9-14-1. It's a big part of the reason they're in the trouble they're in. And they have a -8 goal differential. Their odds of making the playoffs on moneypuck.com right now, 35.4%. So it's well below 50. On the Buffalo side, they're 21-18-2. Their last 10 games are 6-4. At home, they're 9-11-2. They have a +17 in goal differential. Their odds making the playoffs 10.4%, meaning that by their standards and looking at the schedule ahead, Florida has an easier schedule than does Buffalo. That's why the percentages are as they are. 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific start as well between Philadelphia and Boston. Boston won the first meeting November the 17th. The third meeting will happen April the 9th. This is a different Philadelphia team than the last one Buffalo beat, though. Philadelphia is 18-18-7. Their last 10 games are 7-3. Away from home, they're 9-8-6. They have a -15 for the goal differential. Things have gotten better for them, though, over the last couple of weeks. Their odds of making the playoffs, 16.2%. They're given better odds right now than Buffalo. Strange things. On the Boston side, they're 33-5-4. Their last 10 games are 7-1-2. At home, they're a ridiculous 21-3. They have a +66 in goal differential. I've checked. That's also ridiculous. And they have a 100% chance of making the playoffs. They're not missing the playoffs. 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific start between the Detroit Red Wings and the Colorado Avalanche. This is the first of two meetings. They'll meet again on March the 18th. For Detroit, they're 18-16-7. Their last 10 games are 5-5. Away from home, they're 7-7-4. They have a -11 for their goal differential. They have a 5.5% chance of making the playoffs. On the Colorado side, they're 21-17-3. Their last 10 games are 3-6-1. At home, they're 10-8-3. Their goal differential is a +7. Their odds of making the playoffs, still a positive at 70%. I would imagine that could come down over the next little while, but maybe it means that the second half of the season is a little bit nicer to them. And so we'll see how things go for Colorado as we get into the second half of their season. 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific start. We got two games starting then, beginning with New Jersey and San Jose. New Jersey won the first meeting in New Jersey, 2-1 on October 22nd. For the Devils, they're 28-12-3. Their last 10 games, they're 6-3-1. Away from home, they're 17-2-1. They have a +39 goal differential. They have a 99.4% chance of making the playoffs. And they're excellent on the road. They're mediocre at home. So after this road trip, we'll see how things go for them at home. It's part of the reason why on the power rankings they've moved up. They haven't moved up as high as a lot of Devils fans would like to see. They're probably the best team in the league on the road, but again, I want to see some wins at home. On the San Jose front, they're 13-23-8 overall. Their last 10 games are 3-5-2 at home. Not a very good record. 4-12-6. So if you want to see the ultimate upset, San Jose beating New Jersey tomorrow would be the ultimate upset. And with the way San Jose's been playing, I'm not betting on it. They have a -34 in their goal differential. Their odds of making the playoffs, it's not 0, it's 0.8%. 4 Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific start between Tampa Bay and Seattle. This is their second and final meeting. Tampa Bay won at home on December 13th, 6-2. So one of the few teams that's been able to beat Seattle and beat them handedly this season. On the Tampa Bay side, they're 27-13-1. Their last 10 games are 7-3. Away from home, they're 10-9. They're coming off that win in St. Louis. They have a +27 in their goal differential. Their odds of making the playoffs listed at 98.2%. So, playoffs. On the Seattle front, they're 26-12-4. Their last 10 games, they're 8-2. Those 8, of course, all being in a row. At home, they're 10-8-2. They've been mediocre at home, great on the road. Coming off that 7-game road trip where they won all 7. They have a +28 in their goal differential. Their odds of making the playoffs listed at 93.8%. And then at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, we have the Dallas Stars against the Vegas Golden Knights. I will try to get some games reviewed as the day goes along so that people aren't waiting forever for the recap videos, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to find the time for that because there's going to be some overlap here and it's going to be tough. But Dallas and Vegas should be a fun one. This is the first of 3 meetings. They meet again February the 25th and April the 8th. Dallas is no longer first in their division. They're 25-12-7. Their last 10 games are 6-3-1. Away from home, they're 13-7-4. Their goal differential is a plus 33. A 93.2% chance of them making the playoffs. On the Vegas front, they're 28-14-2. Their last 10 games, they're 6-3-1 as well. At home, they're 13-11. Their goal differential is a plus 21. They have an 86.8% chance of making the playoffs. So, yeah, they're going to make the playoffs. At least in all likelihood. Then 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. We have 2 games starting then. So there's not a lot going on in the evening. Starting with Anaheim and Pittsburgh. This is the first of 2 meetings. They'll meet again February the 10th. And boys, Pittsburgh glad to see Anaheim. The Ducks Ducks are a team that have a hard time keeping the puck out of their net. Pittsburgh's a team that's been having a really hard time just in all areas lately. So for Anaheim, they're 12-27-4. Their last 10, they're 3-6-1. Away from home, they're 4-14-3. They have a negative 81 as their goal differential, a 0% chance of making the playoffs. On the Pittsburgh side, they're 21-15-6. Their last 10, a woeful 2-6-2. At home, they're 11-5-4. They have a plus 8 in their goal differential. Their odds of making the playoffs now are below 50%. They're at 42.1%. Still a better chance mathematically than the Islanders and the Flyers, but there's definitely some room there for the Flyers to get back in the conversation. If they can pull off a win in Boston and Pittsburgh loses, Philly'd be quite happy. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start as well between the New York Rangers and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus won the first matchup on October 23rd, 5-1. The third and fourth meetings will be March the 28th and April the 8th. The Rangers are 24-13-7. Their last 10 games are 6-2-2 away from home. They are 13-5-3. They have a plus 22 for their goal differential. Their odds of making the playoffs, 67.2%. On the Columbus side, 13-27-2 overall. Their last 10 games are 3-7. They're coming off that win against Detroit. At home, they're 10-13-1. They have a negative 58 for their goal differential. They have 0% as their chance of making the playoffs as well. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific start between Washington and the Islanders. This might end up being the best game of the day. This is the first of 4 meetings. They meet again on March the 11th, March the 29th, and April the 10th. So they'll have plenty of time to get the hate started as we get into this series. For Washington, they're 23-16-6 overall. Their last 10, they're 5-3-2. They're coming off that frustrating loss to Philly. They're 10-9-3 away from home. They have a plus 18 for their goal differential and a 79.9% chance of making the playoffs. On the Islanders side, they're 23-18-3. Their last 10, they're 5-4-1. At home, they're 13-7-3. They have a plus 13 for their goal differential. They have a 38.1% chance of making the playoffs. So the Islanders looking to improve those odds with a victory tomorrow night against Washington. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific start between Calgary and Nashville. So the first meeting was a 4-1 win for Nashville on November the 3rd. That was in Calgary. And the third and final meeting will be on April the 10th. For Calgary, they're 21-14-9. Their last 10 games are 6-2-2. Away from home, they're 9-7-7. They have a plus 6 for their goal differential. 93% chance of making the playoffs. That's not bad. On the Nashville side, they're 19-17-6. Their last 10 games, they're 5-4-1. At home, they're 9-7-3. They're coming off that loss against Buffalo. They have a negative 8 as their goal differential and a 17.2% chance of making the playoffs. Absolutely shocking to see it that low for Nashville at this point in the season. And the last one to preview is Ottawa in against St. Louis. This should be a fun one. This is the first of 2 meetings. They meet again on February the 19th. For Ottawa, they are 19-20-3 on the season. Last 10 games are 5-4-1. They're coming off that humiliating defeat against Colorado. Usually when a team gets defeated like that, they're much tougher to beat the next game. Away from home, they're 8-10-2. Their goal differential, negative 12. So it was a negative 5 going into that Colorado game. 8.4% chance of making the playoffs, to quote Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance. On the St. Louis front, they're 21-20-3. Their last 10 games are 5-4-1. At home, they're 8-10-2 as well. So both of these teams struggling with this venue. St. Louis at home, Ottawa on the road. Negative 20 is the goal differential for St. Louis. Their chances of making the playoffs are currently listed at 9.1%. So that tells you that the schedules for these teams are quite different the second half of the season. And when they go through and they run it through their simulator, usually it's 1,000 simulations they run, and that's how they get the percentage. So there you go. Let me know your picks for tomorrow. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and it's going to be a long Monday, but I'm here for it. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.